Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children over the age of 18, it's your main man Tez, as well as Travis, and we are your favorite LOs. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about appraisal guarantees and exactly what it means in regards to the home buying process. So go ahead, grab that pen and piece of paper and your favorite beverage, and we're back in just a second to break it down. See you in a few. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And as I stated in the intro, today we're going to be talking about appraisal guarantees and what they really are, and breaking down that concept. So in today's market, appraisal guarantees is one of the most popular things basically that are out right now, that we're seeing most of our clients getting their offer accepted by putting that in the offer. Now, we're not saying here in this video whether it's something that you should do or shouldn't do. We just really want to clarify what an appraisal guarantee is, because we have run into where it's a misunderstood concept to both buyers and realtors alike. So we just wanted to shed some light on that topic today, so that way you have a better understanding of what it is and if that's something that you should go ahead and put into your offer. So Trav, I'm going to go ahead and let you get started with this. What is an appraisal guarantee? And why is it important, and or how is it a benefit to our clients when it comes to making an offer?
Oh man. So what we're seeing nowadays in all the markets that we work is low inventory. Okay. Probably not quite as active of a market as it was when we were in the lower rate environment, but it's absolutely just as competitive, if not more competitive. People are turning to appraisal guarantees in their offer to help make their offer stand out, just like Tez mentioned. All right. So, what is an appraisal guarantee? Essentially, it's you as the buyer agreeing to pay a certain price for a home in spite of the possibility of a low appraisal. Okay. Oftentimes, appraisal guarantees will have limitations. Sometimes you'll see appraisal guarantees up to a certain dollar amount. Those are the most common. A flat out appraisal guarantee, you're not typically going to see that a lot unless you see someone that's going what I would consider to be minimally over the ask price. Essentially, what we're doing as a potential buyer by guaranteeing the appraisal, we're saying that if the home appraises low, we agree to pay up to a certain price in spite of that. Okay. So for example, if I have a home that's listed at 300,000 and I want to make an offer at 305, sometimes people will make an offer at 305 and guarantee the entire appraisal. What that means is that I myself am willing to pay 305, even if that home only appraises at, let's just say 300. Sometimes buyers are going above and beyond, and they're saying, I'm going to go with an offer of 325 on that home. I'm going to guarantee the appraisal up to $10,000 over appraisal. So if that particular home appraises at $305,000, then basically that person is willing to go up to $315,000. Okay. Why? Why would we see this? Quite simply, it still is a seller's market. We have to do things to make our offers stand out. And sometimes some of our more fortunate clients are able to do things like guarantee the appraisal. Like Ted says, we're not really saying whether or not it's a good idea, a bad idea. Oftentimes, it's something that gets popular in an inclining market. So realtors and buyers believe that the client's going to have that equity there in the future, even if it does appraise a little under that for now. Okay, so in a nutshell, an appraisal guarantee is just guaranteeing your offer despite of the appraisal. Tez, I know the Charlotte market is really hot right now. We're seeing a lot of people that are going into the appraisal guarantees. What do you think when it comes to just the brass tacks of it, those misunderstood pieces are?
like I personally think that just from how you explained it, it was an excellent explanation, by the way. It's just the fact that you're putting yourself behind the eight ball up front. Now I do believe that I'm in a market where houses are appreciating faster than they can basically be built. Like houses are gaining value rapidly. The year over year rate is phenomenal down here in Charlotte, but it's not guaranteed. So not only are folks like, when you make this guarantee, you're essentially buying an asset for more than what it's worth, right? So you're putting yourself in that hole, and that's just not a hole I really would want, because I always look at it from a loan officer standpoint. Would I want my mom doing it? And that's not something that I would say is something that I could possibly say with certainty. Now, by all means, if it's a house you love, I am not going to stray you away from it. If it's your dream house, it's got enough room for the kids, the dog, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It checks all the boxes off. By all means, do it, because this is something that you're going to be in for a long time. But if it's something that is, you're on the fence about, depleting your assets for a property that isn't giving the return on the value, it's just something that I always, wonder and worry about. But by all means, though, folks, like I said, we're not saying whether you should do it or shouldn't do it, but we have seen that it makes offers a little bit more, I guess the trendy word is sexier, I guess, for the sellers, knowing that they have that guarantee of that, hey, they're going to get a little bit more should the house not appraise, right? So, I mean, that's the only thing I really would say that, the appraisal guarantee, does it have its place? Yes. But it's a risk, just like anything else. It's a risk that, if it's a calculated risk that your realtor is advising you on, who am I to say that they're wrong? Because I'm not an appraiser. Travis is not an appraiser. So we don't know what the home would appraise for. Um, and if it does appraise higher, that's wonderful by all means. But that's just like my only concern is just like the possibility of buying an asset, or excuse me, technically, an appreciating asset in that regards, with hopes that it will appreciate sooner. I mean, sooner rather than later. That's kind of the only thing that I'm seeing is like would be my drawback in regards to that. Like, I mean, any other drawbacks that you would have for that in that case?
Really, I mean, so I remember a couple of years ago when these got to be a real big thing. Um, and I remember the trepidation that I felt in my gut when I had that first client get that offer accepted. And it's funny because now we would laugh because this person ended up so far ahead, anyways. Because again, the market from where we were to where we are, it's appreciated so rapidly that essentially by the time this person closed, their house was worth exactly what they were paying for it. So again, it's one of those things. Always use your realtor as the expert in that regard. Um, but let's make sure that everybody truly understands the numbers behind it. So um, one of the things that we get oftentimes is like an appraisal guarantee where like Tez or myself, we're kind of looking at, because keep in mind, we're collecting assets at pre-approval, right? And one of the things that you might want to know when you're getting pre-approved is, do I have the assets to place an offer? Okay, to place an offer specifically with an appraisal guarantee. So often people don't quite understand exactly how that works. So keep in mind that as the lender, the down payment percentage is going to be held up to the lesser of the purchase price or the appraisal. Okay. So, very easy round numbers like we always do here for our examples. If we placed an offer at $310,000 to purchase a home, let's just say it's listed at $300,000, and we guarantee that appraisal. If this home appraises at 300,000 and I've agreed to bring a 5% down payment, I'm going to bring $15,000 because that's 5% of the appraised value. And I'm also going to bring $10,000 in addition to the $15,000 total out of pocket of $25,000 in order to guarantee that appraisal. That speaks to why sometimes people are limiting those appraisal guarantees. If that same offer is accepted with an offer of 310, guaranteeing the appraisal up to $5,000, now that borrower is only bringing 20 because they're bringing the 15 on the $300,000 purchase. And keep in mind that we're kind of capped with that 5K. Now we're bringing 20. Okay. One of the biggest misconceptions that we see is when someone has to exercise that appraisal guarantee and then they say, okay, Travis, well, I said I was going to bring 5%. So at 310 my 5% is equal to this. And then we have to say, no, like I need the 10 and then I need your 5% on 300. So again, very important to talk about with your loan officer, right? I would love it if all of my clients and all of our clients had enough assets to guarantee appraisals at no detriment to them. Because keep in mind, this is a decision that you're making based on how you feel that home is worth to you, right? I've had people that have said like, I'd love to guarantee the appraisal, but I can't take the chance that it doesn't appraise. Excuse me.
But yeah, no, to piggyback off of what Travis was saying, the assets, I'm glad he brought that up because assets are the thing that you really want to speak with your loan officer about in that regards to making sure you have enough assets in regards to fulfilling the obligation of the down payment, the appraisal guarantee. And the one part he forgot to mention was the closing costs. So you really want to have that conversation with your loan officer to make sure if you're going to put that offer in, that you actually have enough funds to close the loan if that offer is accepted and that appraisal guarantee does need to come into effect. Because the last thing we want to have you do is get under contract and then you guarantee this appraisal, but then you're short funds to close and now we're scrambling to see where can we find the additional assets, be it a gift, be it well, can't take a loan out, so don't think about getting a loan in regards to that, but more like a gift to come up with the remaining amount, so then that way we can get this deal done. So really pay attention to like, hey, if you're planning on putting a guarantee in, to talk to your loan officer to see if that guarantee will actually work in regards to the mortgage itself. So I think I want to say we're gonna button this episode up real quick. It was a short episode, but we really wanted to bring light to the folks about appraisal guarantees. Travis, is there anything else you wanted to add in regards to what I said?
Today's episode brought to you by seasonal allergies, and I apologize there. But no, I mean, appraisal guarantees, again, can't say whether they're bad, whether they're good. The answer really lies within, right? We just want to make sure that you have the ability to do whatever it takes to get your offer accepted, should that be something you want to do. Alternatives to appraisal guarantees, one of the biggest things that we're seeing right now is offers getting accepted. Although, like, we're not talking about like I can just go throw any old offer out there, but I'm having a ton of success with my buyers by promising short closes and keeping that promise. Right? Keep in mind that sellers are most often buying something else. So they've either bought something else or they're going to buy something else. Either way, closing in a short time period is super helpful for them. We actually got an offer accepted the other day that was slightly under the best offer that they received, but Tez and I are going to be able to close that loan in 10 days. So keep that in mind. And if you're working with a lender that can't close your loan in 10 to 15 days, maybe give us a call, right? Because that's something that really should be feasible as long as you've done the right things up front. Obviously, if Tez reaches out to you for a piece of paper and it takes you 6 weeks to get back to you, we can't close you in 15 days. But if you've got a pre-approval on the books with us closing in 10, 15 days is absolutely something that we can do, and might even keep a little extra money in your pocket because you don't have to put out that offer the way that you might have otherwise had to. So keep that in mind. And yeah, that's all I got, Tess.
All right, wonderful, wonderful wrap up there, Travis. So that'll do it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. As always, if you found this information to be useful, please go ahead, hit that like, subscribe, and that bell notification so that way you're always up to date whenever we drop new content. But with that being said, my name's Tez, that's Travis, and we're your favorite LOs. Until next time, folks, see ya.